Hi everyone, and welcome to our Tuesday TNT. Now it's the end of October and apparently it's Halloween. It's not something that I used to celebrate. When I was young, we didn't celebrate Halloween in Australia at all. Didn't really know about it. Used to see some episodes of The Brady Bunch and other American sitcoms and wonder, what the hell are they doing? But it seems to be a big thing in Thailand, so we'll just have to see what happens later today. We probably have a bag of sweets ready just in case. Anyway, happy Halloween if that's an important day for you. Let's get into today's stories because quite a grab bag, including maybe a bit of a Halloween story. But not this one. Covered in thepatianews.com, Thai authorities seize over 50 million baht worth of illicit substances destined for Australia. So whilst this story does lack specifics, it certainly shows there's quite an effort between Thai and Australian authorities to stem the tide of illicit drugs heading in that direction. And yesterday they had the Advisor on Tax Collection Development and Management, Thai Office of the Narcotics Control Board officials and representatives from the Australian Border Force. And in the second paragraph there, they say that traditionally they transported via cargo ships in large numbers, but nowadays the shipments are via express services in a small number, stashed into toys, thick books, shoes and so on. The new means to smuggle the drugs have got creative to avoid detection by Customs Department officials. It's a real cat and mouse game. Let's read some stats. And in October this year, there were more than 11 cases of drug smuggling from neighbouring countries to Thailand before sending illicit substances to Australia, Taiwan and South Korea as the final destinations. And it says that the Thai Customs Department officials will increase the intensity of drug searches with cooperation from relevant agencies to track down wrongdoers importing or exporting illicit drugs. Happy to report these success stories, but as we're reporting them, there are just hundreds of more shipments going out of Thailand to borders beyond. Now let's go to the BangkokPost.com. A handout plan faces 7-month delay. Now this is the signature policy from the Thai party before the election, this pork barrelling, the handing out of 10,000 baht to every Thai citizen over the age of 16, but it's slowly being whittled back. And the digital wallet scheme, the government's flagship policy, will face a 7-month delay and is expected to be launched around September next year. Now, speaking at a forum organised by the Senate to discuss the handout scheme, it was insisted that the policy was necessary to stimulate the economy, but was unlikely to be implemented in February as planned. And the policy will be adjusted to reduce its scope following concerns from many quarters, and so the number of eligible people is estimated to be around 40 million. So whittled down in scope and to the number of people that will be receiving it. And it says the 4-kilometre radius restriction in which the digital money can be spent is likely to be revised to cover an entire district. And the Pao Tang application may be used for the scheme because developing a new one is time-consuming. And a former Deputy Finance Minister said the handout scheme is not sustainable and the money should be spent on development projects that will increase people's productivity. And he said the government should try to reduce costs and spur people's capacity to produce rather than giving them money and hoping that it will bring about sustainable growth. Meanwhile, the acting deputy leader of the Democrat Party said that the government's inability to find money to finance the scheme showed that the ruling Thai party did not think the policy through. And last week, a subcommittee overseeing the project's implementation recommended limiting the handout using income or savings as the criteria. So minimum there's going to be delays. I think we've probably got a lot more water to go under the bridge before any Thai people receive that particular handout. Now, a story that I had yesterday but just didn't have time to cover it, but we'll do it today. It was covered in calsodenglish.com. The Thai-Cambodian border market fire costs 100 million baht. And you can see there the market totally devastated by the fire. And we've got some video footage from the CalSod English YouTube page as well. And it affected vendors of the Chong Chom market in the Surin province on the Thai-Cambodian border, and 320 stores burnt on October the 27th. And the market posted signs prohibiting entry and movement for 45 days. So a lot of vendors out of work for at least 45 days. Suppose they'll find somewhere else to ply their trade. And officials from both countries are jointly providing relief items to more than 300 Cambodian and Thai vendors who lost their shops in the border market. And the fire broke out at 9:30 p.m. on October the 27th, destroying 320 stores and causing around 20 minor injuries. And the damage was assessed at around 100 million baht, which was higher than the damage from the fire at the market in 2020. So it looks like fire has visited this location before. Cambodian seller stated that before the incident he noticed a light bulb flashing on and off on Soi 9 of the market, which was followed by a fire that erupted in that location. It appears that the efforts there of the firefighters were perfunctory at best, but a lot of people out of work. And it looks like it's going to be 45 days before they get that mess cleaned up on the Thai-Cambodian border. Tuesday's TNT on October the 31st. Thanks for dropping in, and please subscribe to the channel. Tim Newton today would be much appreciated. Now, yesterday we covered a story about the outcome of an inquest from the death of Dom, one of the 13 boys who were stuck in the cave at Tam Luang, but died last February in, well, it seemed unusual circumstances. And during the weekend we found out the cause of death, which was determined to be suicide. And I was stunned by some of the comments of people sceptical about the outcome from the inquest. Like, they hadn't even been at the inquest, they probably weren't present at the autopsy, yet they had the audacity to question the outcome of an inquest. At the same time, a lot of people hurting, including his family. And this story from cowsidenglish.com. No matter Dom's cause of death, the family is still devastated. And 8 months after the death of Duangpet Promtep, or Dom, the captain of the Wild Boars Thai football team, trapped in a cave for several days in 2018, the public has just learned of the tragic cause that he took his own life when at school at Leicester in the UK. And Dom died on February the 14th, 2023, 2 days after being found unconscious in his dormitory at a football academy in Leicester. He was 17 years old. Dom's mother in the Mersai district in Chiang Rai province told a Khaosod reporter on October the 28th that the cause of death has no bearing on the family's grief. The investigation into the cause of death is the matter of relevant agencies. Her family is still devastated and unable to cope with the fact that Dom is no longer with them. She said what the family can do, and has always tried to do, is make merit by offering food to monks with snacks and fruits that Dom likes. We pray to send merit to him in accordance with our beliefs and the traditions of the villagers at Mersai. And Dom had enrolled as a student in the football academy at Brookhouse College in 2022 after receiving a scholarship from the Zico Foundation under the Sports Education Project. So it seems that some people had already decided what the reason for his death was after his death in February, and didn't like the official explanation from the coroner. Quite amazing. Anyway, to this story, a bit of a Halloween theme to it. Nation Thailand saying PM among watchers as 289 Naga fireballs light up Mekong in Nong Khai. So we're right up in the far northeast of Thailand on the border with Laos here. And the Prime Minister there sitting with, well, thousands of people to witness this particular phenomenon. And he visited the Mekong riverside on Sunday to witness for himself the mysterious phenomenon known as the Naga fireballs. Well, I'd read about this in passing many years ago, but I really didn't think much about it until I read this story. And the PM oversaw a ceremony held to honour the legendary Naga King, said to emit the glowing orbs that emerge from the river once a year in Nong Khai. Glowing orbs emerging from a river? Well, my interest was piqued. and the Naga Fireball Festival marks the end of Buddhist Lent, and thousands of people gather along the Mekong River to witness the glowing red orbs emerge from the water and shoot high into the air. According to local law, the fiery balls are the work of the Naga spirit that animates the Mekong. Okay, that's one explanation. I'm happy to hear some others. Scientific explanations for the weird phenomenon range from methane gas bubbles rising from the riverbed to surface electricity. When you see the video of this particular phenomenon, you'll realise that neither of those are adequate explanations, and the audience cheered every time a fireball drifted from the river's surface into the air. Well, they don't really drift, they shoot up into the air. There's a photo of some of this phenomenon happening. That's on the Wikipedia page. And the Wikipedia page says the Naga Fireballs, also known as the Bang Thai Paya Nak or the Mekong Lights, and formerly the Ghost Lights, are a phenomenon said to be seen annually on the Mekong River. Glowing balls are alleged to naturally rise from the water high into the air. The balls are said to be reddish and to range in size from smaller sparkles to the size of basketballs, and they quickly rise up to a couple of 100 metres before disappearing. So someone in amongst all this suggesting that somebody's firing flares from the other side of the shore in Laos. Well, in 2021, an official investigation by Lao authorities, they stated, I would like to state, that it's extremely unlikely that anyone could have fired weapons or flare ammunition without our knowledge on that night. We ensured a heavy police presence through the night and did not encounter any incidents. And Alastair Forbes, who shot the photo accompanying this article, I used to work with Alastair back at the Phuket News many years ago. Well, he points out that the photo and others he shot counter any theory involving tracer bullets or flares being fired from the Laotian side of the Mekong. He said it's quite plain to anyone looking at this photo and the others I took that the Naga balls emerged from the water close to the Thai bank. Others shot up from the Lao side or from the middle of the Mekong. They were everywhere. And then some individuals have attempted to explain the phenomenon scientifically. One explanation is that the fireball is a result of flammable phosphine gas generated by the marshy environment. And a similar explanation involves a phenomenon seen in plasma physics, free floating plasma orbs created when surface electricity is discharged into a solution. But a sceptical Thai scientist has thrown his hat in the ring, and it's reported in nationthailand.com. Scientists insist Naga fireballs are prank by Lao villagers. There's a photo in Nation Thailand of some of this phenomenon, and the so-called Naga fireballs witnessed in Nong Khai on Sunday night were nothing but projectile bullets fired from the Lao side of the Mekong. And this according to a Chulalongkorn University academic. He says it's easily explainable without resorting to the story of a serpent spirit blowing fireballs from the Mekong River. And Jasada has been calling on the media and the government to reveal the truth about the annual phenomenon, which attracts thousands of visitors to the northeastern province every year. He also dismissed theories that the fireballs occur naturally when the full moon triggers the release of methane gas bubbles from the riverbed. And he pointed out that the fireballs actually emerged a day after the full moon to coincide with the end of Buddhist Lent, pointing to a man-made rather than natural cause. One way or another, it's obviously become a huge money spinner for the area, and I bet it'll happen again next year. Now, here's a video, probably the best I could find, and you can see one by one, there they go, firing up into the sky, these red balls of light. And they don't happen all the time. They're happening every, 30 or 40 seconds. This video sort of concentrates a few of them into one video. There goes another one up into the sky. Not particularly easy to see. And there goes another one in exactly the same position in the sky, you might notice. And again, another one being pointed to a slightly different direction. And here's just one more for you to watch as it flies up into the sky. So who am I to question the intentions of the Naga spirits? But I've been to plenty of flare demonstrations, safety demonstrations. Sort of looks like flares to me, but I can guarantee next year there'll be thousands of people lining those shores of the Mekong River to watch those glowing orbs flying up into the sky once again. Back down to earth, in fact, all the way down to footpaths in Bangkok. And Thai PBS World reporting that the freedom to move, how Bangkok is improving its sidewalks. Bangkok is fully committed to transforming into a more pedestrian-friendly and healthier city. And yesterday, the Deputy Governor of Bangkok presented a strategic initiative aimed at making Bangkok a city conducive to pedestrians. The Bangkok Governor's already said that he's prioritised the renovation of sidewalks, and further down there, City Hall's popular Traffy Fondue app, introduced approximately 18 months ago, has received over 337,000 complaints, some 10% related to issues with sidewalks. The app serves as an online platform for residents to report problems or shortcomings in city infrastructure or management, and to make the first and last mile more walkable and accessible to commuters. The BMA has devised several solutions. These include covered walkways, elevated walkways, and designating the lane on the far left of smaller streets without pavements as walkable footpaths. And further down there, the current administration has set the goal of improving 1,000 kilometres of sidewalks across the capital by 2026 and has already achieved approximately half of that target. So Bangkok a bit late to the party as far as recognising the value of footpaths and sidewalks around the city. They have been famous in the past for tripping up many people, myself included. So good to see a bit of focus on walking around the city rather than all the other types of mass public transport. Thank you for watching today. Hopefully you're a bit more up to date with things happening around Thailand. Happy Halloween to you if you're into that stuff. Otherwise, we look forward to seeing you tomorrow with another Tim Newton Today.